Alrighty, what is up, you guys? It's me, the Eagle Reviewer slash Reactor, and I'm back. And as you can see, I'm in a different recording location again because, well, essentially I'm on the go as I've been, so my locations are subject to change based on whenever these videos come out. Alright? So for this one, I'm going to be, ranking every Despicable Me villain thus far. Okay? Alrighty, let's get to it. So we have six movies, six main villains to discuss. Um, we have the four Despicable Me movies, two from the Minions, and so six from the overall franchise. Alright, of course we have regular sequels, prequels, all that stuff to discuss. And yeah, before I get into any of that though, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel and see what videos I posted before. I might link them in here, so yeah, just do all that good stuff. We'll have a lot of fun on this channel, and I'll put more fun videos like this one. So this is the first time I guess I'm making a video where I might have to make a new playlist where I'm just ranking the Despicable Me villains. So yeah, all right, let's get into this. So in sixth place we have Max Lamal. I believe that's how you say his name, and he essentially is the villain of the Despicable Me 4 movie, which I just recently reacted to, so you can see that it's on the channel. And overall, he was a pretty mid villain in my opinion, which is why I put him in last place, sixth place that is. And first of all, he was kind of a mid villain because he just didn't really do anything evil. For example, his whole thing was, he held a grudge against Gru because of something that happened a long time ago. And even the partner, he was with that girl was kind of fed up with him that he's just doing this because of his grudge against Gru. Why can't he actually do something evil and be evil, right? I believe that's because they all went to that school where everyone was sort of supposed to be doing like the most evil things possible, right? Yet here he is just mad at Gru because he stole his song. And giving him the benefit of the doubt, let's say he stole Gru's song. Overall, like, he didn't really do much with that. His whole plan was to essentially kidnap Gru's son and make Gru feel bad because of what he did. I don't know if that's equal or not, but still, I mean, that's sort of evil, I guess. And the issue with that is he would not have found Gru's son had it not been for the school principal. Like, let's be honest here. He spent so much time, he was dipped from the first half of the film, gone missing, then he was trying to find Gru and all that stuff. We don't even know how he escaped jail. He couldn't find Gru's son on his own. He was scanning the whole world, had this like telescope or something, if I remember correctly, and he still couldn't find Gru's son. Had it not been for the school's principal, he would not have found Gru's son and kidnapped him. Not knowing where his house is, where Gru's living, any of that stuff wouldn't have happened. So yeah, that's kind of a lame thing, and giving him even a bigger benefit of the doubt that he didn't know where he was. It's fine, but even his evil plan, was kind of weird. Like to what, just make him like a cockroach man sidekick. I didn't get his motives or his motivation, and he was just doing weird stuff overall. I wish the writers put more effort into creating a more just satisfying villain who, taken his relationship with Guru, had it also make sense. And that's why, in my opinion, the movie was kind of mid. There were low stakes in this film. I didn't like it as much, and one of the reasons was the villain. Mid villain, mid plot, mid stakes. All pretty much just mid stuff, I guess. So he's a fun villain. He's an exciting villain, but you could have added more to him. When I look at these villains and rate them, I see their character, their persona, and how it's presentable. And this time it was done in much of a poor fashion. And at the end of the film, they're just kind of like singing together, as like a duo. So overall, I didn't really feel like much tension between the two. And maybe that was always the plan, but sadly, it just means he's a weak villain overall. No strong plans or anything like that. So yeah, he gets sixth place. Alrighty, coming up at number five. Uh, it's kind of a hard one, but we have the Vicious Six in fifth place. From Despicable Me 2, or not Despicable Me 2, from Minions 2, The Rise of Gru. So why are they in fifth place? That's a great question. Overall, I did like them much more than Max and Lamal. Because they actually had a persona to them, they were actual characters, and they were actually doing evil things throughout the film without anyone's help. Unlike Max Lamal, he needed the principal's help to find Gru's son. So yeah, they were kind of just pretty decent villains. I did love the way they collaborated. This sort of unity between the characters was sort of fun play. I guess, this weird part is, they were easily defeated by Gru, who was still a child in this film, so a child basically defeated all of them. But I mean, I guess the good guys have to win, so playing off that trope right there. And of course, the Wildland Chucks guy came out to help Gru defeat them, so I guess brownie points goes to him as well. But overall, it's a decent film. It's a fun film, much more enjoyable than Despicable Me 4, in my opinion. And sort of average villains overall. Doing average things, average villains. Maybe a 6 out of 10. Could have been more scary and more intimidating, had a bit more persona to them. But they got the job done, and I enjoyed seeing them in the film. The Vicious Six are just a sort of a nice team. I guess they're just kind of old and outdated. They can't just maybe do much more modern things because the film takes place in the past. I don't know exactly which year. If you guys know, you can let me know in the comments below. But overall, they're a fun time. They do a couple of evil things throughout the film, and that just makes them enjoyable to watch already. So that is that. That is fifth place. Let's get into fourth place. All right. So the top four are kind of hard because you have the three from Despicable Me. I'm trying to save them off for some time, and of course you have one from Minions. What? When it comes to this part, it's kind of hard to think. Who did like more like evil things, I guess, or was much more of a fun and intimidating villain, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's kind of hard to decide for sure. And again, my ranking is just my ranking. Okay, you can have your own personal ranking, and I think my rankings are definitely gonna change over time. So even when this video comes out, whatever comes next, I might change. And again, I haven't seen these other films. I haven't seen in a while. Okay, so please grant me that because these two are much more recent films. It was much more fresh on the top of my head. Okay, so I think sadly I'm gonna have to put Scarlet Overkill in fourth place from Minions 1, and I think her husband was Herb or Herb. I forgot how to say his name. And my only complaint is she's a very scary and intimidating villain. She wants to be like a queen and all, and I just love that. She had a persona, she had a characteristic, and she owned it fully. She pretty much almost tortured the millions, not the millions, the minions. Luckily, though, they're pretty much indestructible to, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're indestructible. I saw a video, I think, on YouTube saying they're indestructible. But yeah, overall, though, she did have this presence. She was intimidating. She was scary when she needed to be scary, and loved when she needed to be loved. She had it all: the emotions, the feelings. She walked the walk, talked the talk, and overall, I just loved seeing her in the film. You know, she's a really nice villain. She's an easy 7 or 8 out of 10 villain right there. And the things she was planning on doing are really, really evil in my opinion. So, she's she's evil, man. The only thing is that um, she was pretty much defeated by the minions, I guess, right? Or they worked together to stop her. Because remember, Gru's like a baby in this film, pretty much. Or he's not even that old, really. He doesn't show up until the end of the film, and even then, he's pretty much a kid. But overall, Scarlet Overkill was kind of just could have been a little bit better. But overall, I still enjoyed seeing her in the film. Okay, getting into the top three. Now, this is sort of where it kind of gets hard to decide. Once I decide two and three, I think one is a piece of cake right there to figure out. But let's see who gets the third place spot. Hmm. I think I'm sadly gonna have to give it to Balthazar Brat from Despicable Me 3. Apparently, I'm just ranking the films by order of release date. Okay, that's pretty much it. The only reason why I'm giving Balthazar Brat third place is because he is iconic, he is awesome, and he's amazing. He's just in a film where it's kind of low stakes, much more comedic. However, I did love whenever he chewed bubblegum, when he played songs, he had a persona, and he owned that persona. Remember, all these top four villains are great in my opinion. That's what this franchise does right. It's hard to rank them when they're so great in their own way. The issue though with Balthazar Brad is he wasn't as intimidating as the other ones or as scary. He was kind of like the Joker in my opinion. He made jokes, cracked up jokes, and I loved whenever he sang or danced or any of that stuff. He owned all of that. That was him, and Balthazar Brad, in my opinion, is a classic 9 out of 10 villain in my opinion. Does everything right, and I love it. Maybe if you grew up in the 80s or something, I think he was just sort of like an 80s guy with the music and all that. Maybe you would have enjoyed him even more than I did. which is perfectly fine. If you have your own ranking, let me know in the comments down below. But overall, I'm putting him in the third place spot because again, top three are like the best of the best. Second place, we have El Macho. Now, overall, I was switching two and three, but now that I think about it, El Macho was a cool character. I'm ranking them also based on the character that they are. El Macho was a cool character. He kind of looked up to Groot as this villain. He loved him, and that's what I think. I haven't rewatched the whole film, but seeing clips of it, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have been so hard on this film. It's a fun film. It's a decent film. Love it. Laugh at it. And this is the film which made the franchise. This is the one that actually set it up. Everything started here. We introduced Lucy in the film. The girls were already there. The dynamic between them was introduced, and of course the AVL Anti-Villain League. Sort of starting out from here on, and El Macho was kind of like he was such a cool character. Even Dr. Nefario wanted to work with him in the first place. And his plans of turning the minions purple was so evil and despicable. Into just killing machines. He had the ideas, he had the objective, and seeing him on screen was awesome. And when he became evil, I'll tell you, he owned all of that. Like, he's scary, menacing, threatening, and while he doesn't yell or talk a lot, you can tell. He seems like a classic villain from like classic times and all. So that's why he gets the number two spot. And in number one, as you probably imagine, we have from Despicable Me 1, Vector, which is how you say his name, alright? Here's the thing, Vector may not be the scariest, but he is the villain who this franchise is loved for. When you think of Despicable Me, you think of classic villains, you think of Vector. He comes up number one, and there's a reason for that. When he does evil things, it's interesting. Now, of course, he has cheesy catchphrases and all, like, oh, poop and all of that. But he owns it. He owns all of it. And he stole the pyramid, and he's his dad and everything. Like, he comes from a pretty evil family himself, yet he's able to make a name for it. And I think we all just love seeing him on screen. Maybe he's not doing evil things all the time, but at least, when he tried to stop Gru and all that and kidnap the three girls, this was a much more personal threat for Gru. Like one of the most personal things ever. And it's in the first film, where he adopted the girls and didn't really like them as much, but overall started to care for them. And when Vector realized that, he took the people that Gru loved the most or cared for the most. And that was just it. The tip of the iceberg right there. And while he's maybe not the scariest, he is the most iconic villain of the Despicable Me franchise. He owns all of his scenes, and he's just a total beast of a guy. But yeah, I think that's about it. And I love seeing Vector return. I love seeing all of them return at the end of Despicable Me 4. Scarlet Overkill and her husband Herb, seeing all of them back. The Vicious Six, the Nun, everyone came back, and I love to see them again, honestly. But anyways, I believe that's about it, you guys. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below what your ranking of the Despicable Me villains are. If you change some stuff up, let me know. I think my ranking is just a pretty like overall generally accepted ranking, but also based off of my opinions as well. But I love all the top four villains that I mentioned. Like they all have their own interesting personality and their characteristics as well. But that's just a couple of minor things that made me switch it up a little bit. But anyways, you guys, that's about it. Eagle Reviewer / Reactor is out.